Hey everyone, it's Jessica, and today I'm bringing you a new style of a video I do all the time. So today's video is technically a declutter video, but I'm not doing it my traditional way of having everything out of my makeup collection here and going through it one by one. I'm just trying something different. Let me know how you like it. I know some people are diehard fans of the other way and you're kind of sad. Others don't like that other way. I just figured I would try something new. I saw Arna Lane do a video this style where it was kind of like a final review of products that were leaving her collection. I thought that was a cute idea. I guess what I'm saying is I like both. I am rambling as usual. But another kind of big point I realized as I was pulling products out of my collection that I was like, I need to get rid of. There were quite a few categories of makeup I've realized that I just don't really use. I wanna bring up those types of items first because they're kind of makeup that I'm no longer gonna buy, or at least if I'm going to buy it in the future, I wanna be really, really thoughtful about it because they're products I don't reach for. So let me give you an example so that it makes sense. First thing, setting spray. I really don't use it. I have my MAC Fix Plus. I always want to say Max Fix Plus. I have that one and I use that, and I think I kept one more, the L'Oreal one that's kind of similar. Those are about the only two I use, and to be honest, in the past like 4 months, I don't think I've used one even once. So I kept those because I do, from time to time, if I just feel powdery, I will grab one, but it's not part of my routine anymore. So I'm getting rid of the ones that I had. Pharmacy Skin Dew, this one, first of all, I love. This is more of like an essence. I love this stuff. A, I think it's gone bad. I've had it for quite a while. And B, I think they discontinued it or something because I need to look into it a little bit more, but this was one of my favorite things in the world, and I wonder why they did. I'm like, no. Hi, little chunky squirrel. Oh my gosh. Let me see if I can get a like behind the scenes shot for you guys of this little chunk. Hi, squirrely buddy. Aw. It's Pinocchio, my dog's nemesis. And he is a chunky boy. I bet he's the one that's been eating from our bird feeder and taunting Pinocchio for just years and years and years. Pinocchio, I saw the squirrel. Yeah, the squirrel was out there. It was in the front window, buddy. Where's that squirrel? So to finish that one up, setting spray. I just think I'm done for a while buying it. It's not to say I'll never buy one again if one really struck my fancy, but I'm decluttering most of them. I have 2 right now, and that's more than I need, honestly. But the other 2, the CoverGirl mattifying setting spray, I liked. The ColourPop Pretty Fresh hyaluronic acid setting mist, I liked fine enough. I don't think either of these really like insanely increase the longevity of my makeup or anything either. Okay, another category of products that I am making myself stop buying at least this year is foundation sticks. Now, in all fairness, I think the only one of the, oh no, I did buy 2 of the 3. The Bare Minerals one and then the Hourglass one. I really like the Hourglass one. This Milk one was sent to me. I feel like for me, I just don't reach for foundation sticks. And I always have this fantasy self in my mind of, oh, well, when I really want to, I don't even know what that fantasy self is. I just don't wear foundation sticks. I don't like the application method as much as I would just prefer a liquid foundation, if you will. So it's just one of those things that at this point in my life, they're not getting used. This Hourglass one is definitely old because it's one I've had for, I don't even want to say how long because the Bare Minerals one is actually good. It's just super creamy, almost to a fault where even with my normal to dry skin, I felt like it was sliding right off, which made me sad. And this has made it through so many declutters because of that. Because I'm like, oh, but it's so pretty. It really is pretty, but I just can't get it to stay on longer than a few hours. So that won't work. So those are all going. I don't think I have any foundation sticks now in my collection. Another product type that I'm getting rid of completely from my collection are eyebrow gels that have a tint to them. I don't use them. I've never used them. The only one that I actually kind of liked and I thought about keeping is the Anastasia one. But I don't, because my brows are so light naturally and I'm always darkening them, these just get everywhere. Like they get all in the skin around my face. And so I've never really gotten used to using them. So I never reach for them. So I've got a Milk one, an Essence one, an Hourglass one, and of course the Anastasia one. They're all gonna go because they're just not getting used and there's no reason to hold on to any of them. The closest I come to using something like that would be like a clear brow gel. And so I have, I think 1 or 2 of those, but even those I don't use that often, but I do from time to time. I don't know how people with brows like mine even use those. I could see people with like nice, thicker, dark brows using them because you've got like the retail space there to actually brush the color through. For me, I mean, it's just getting everywhere. It's just everywhere. Does anyone else have that problem? I feel like no one talks about it. This is like one of those subjects no one talks about. Another kind of specific product type I'm getting rid of are pink cream or liquid blushes. I own, I think 1 or 2 maybe powder pink, like I'm talking bubblegum pink. But for the liquid ones, I just feel like they come across a little bit clowny on my skin tone because I am a little bit more fair. I'm also not a makeup artist, so it's not perfect. So I just feel like it's a bad mix, and so I found myself not really reaching for these much. Now, keep in mind, I actually really like both these formulas. I've realized over the years after using these more, the Flower Blush Bombs still are my favorite formula, and Physicians Formula is probably second place. But they're both really good, but this shade is Pink Berry, and then this Flower one is Bubbly. I'm just gonna get rid of them and not allow myself to buy those anymore. But speaking of Physicians Formula, something weird I was actually Instagramming about today. The Physicians Formula Sculpting Bronzer, actually a great, great product. I'm wearing it today. I tried it, and as I'm trying it, I'm like, and I look, and there are all these little tiny bumps on it. So I posted on Instagram, like, anyone know what this is? A lot of you guys said you think it might be like oil that's just kind of hardened because it supposedly is a more natural product. There's jojoba oil in it, that might be it. So a lot of you guys recommended kind of cutting some of it off or scraping some of it. So I cut like 1 centimeter off. It still has those in there. So I swatched it on my hand trying to like melt them down. They really didn't go anywhere. So it smells okay. I think it looks okay, but I think just to be safe, I'm just gonna toss it because I'm like, I don't really know for sure what it is. And it's not like I spent $50 on it. Although I have to say, it's still kind of a pricey drugstore product, but it is a good one. I think it really might just be like the oil solidifying. But it is something interesting to think about because then it's like, well, I've had my Milk Makeup baked stick for longer, like over a year. And I feel like that one, even though you're paying more out of pocket right off the bat, I think you get more product in that one. But not only that, if it doesn't have that problem so far, and it doesn't, I just checked it, then maybe your money is better spent in that. I don't know. But then there's the Wet n Wild one like this. I can put on the screen right here. That one is really, really good too. And I have that one. I've had it as long as that, and I've had no issues with it. And that's a lot cheaper. Another product I only had one of, but I just don't use. And so I got rid of, this is the last one and I don't need to buy it again, are the kind of like brow crayons that are like for highlighting under the brow bone. You know what I mean? Like right there. I never use them. I have never really used them. Every once in a while I pull it out and it looks pretty. But to be honest, it's a step I don't need to take when every day that I get ready, I use my highlighter and kind of throw it on the brow bone anyway, and it gives me the glow I like. So unless you're someone that's like carving out your brows, for me, I'm not. So I don't know, it can go. This was actually pretty creamy and good though if you're looking for one, the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Brow Razor. Okay, now I think we're moving on. Now we're moving into just products I'm decluttering for one reason or another. So I'll dig in a little deeper with the actual products themselves. So one product I am gonna get rid of is the Drunk Elephant Umbra Tint SPF. This is not a terrible product, but the thing that I don't like is this is something that I would put on under makeup, and what I like about it is that it does have a little bit of a tint and it doesn't pill up under makeup, you know, create those little like balls on your skin. What's weird about this formula, and I noticed it with their non-tinted one too, and so I've already gotten rid of that, is that when I would sweat, so let's say I put this on and then I went on a run because I want an SPF on my face, even if I have no makeup on, which typically if I'm like running first thing, I don't have makeup on. So I'd put this on and it would sweat off in the weirdest way where it was like the opposite of waterproof. It would like mix with my sweat. It was weird. I can't explain it. And I've used plenty of other SPFs that have not done that when I do it. So for that reason, I'm like, I don't really need it. If it's just sitting in my drawer, it's gonna go bad. So I'd rather like if one of my sisters wanna use it because they go for it, but I'm gonna have to tell them like, listen, don't run with it because it gets real weird real fast. I'm getting rid of this MAC Give Me Sun bronzer. So many of you guys recommended this when I did my like best and worst of MAC video, and I was trying some new things and then reviewing products I've known about for years. This is a very popular product, but here's the thing, my skin tone, it turned out pretty orange and it works. Especially when I'm filming, it looks fine, but in person, I didn't like the way it looked, and I felt like every time I would wear this and catch myself in the mirror, I'd be like, ooh, like it's just a little bit muddy on my skin tone, too orange. Even with a light hand, I'm like, I have bronzers that are just easier to use for me, so 2 of my sisters are much tanner than me, so honestly, they probably actually use that. It's funny, my sisters and I have 3 other sisters and then 2 brothers. All 4 of us girls have completely different skin tones and types, completely different. Like, I'm pretty fair, my sister right above me is pretty fair, but then my oldest 2, like one of them has like the most beautiful olive skin tone, and then the other is just like, she's just always tan. I don't think she tans though. if she does, I'm gonna have to give her a piece of my mind. We're definitely related. I mean, there are a lot of features about us that look a lot alike, but it's just one of those things. A couple of foundations. This one makes me want to vomit. It's the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Foundation. Okay, this is a freaking expensive foundation. This looked awful on my skin, and I wanted so badly for this to work, and there's a part of me that's like, Jessica, maybe you should keep it. Let's try it again. Maybe I will. Maybe I should, because it's not something I wanted to... I can't take this lightly because it was so expensive. I bought it like in Orlando at Sephora. I reviewed like 5 different foundations in a video. It took me a while to do. I can link it up in the corner down below. This was one of them. And I think I listed it as my least favorite of all of the new ones I tried. It just did not look good on my skin. But there are a couple people that absolutely love this. So that's why I'm like, maybe I should try it with a few more combos, even though I feel like I've tried it with a million combos. It just ended up looking really patchy. If you have dry skin, I would stay far away. I would say my skin borders now more on normal than it does dry, and it's still... I have to say, the Wet n Wild Dewy Foundation, I am freaking loving. I'm wearing it today. That's like, what, under $10, and this is... I don't even want to say out loud how much that is. Oh my gosh. One I'm getting rid of because I've had for far too long is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. I really like this. It already expired. It has the expiration date last year. I don't think I've ever really found a shade in this that I like. Now, their shade range isn't great either. This was the shade Porcelain L1, so it's their lightest one. And it just always felt a little bit yellow, a little bit like on my skin, that is. I don't know. It was never quite right. So I felt like every time I'd wear it, my face didn't quite match my neck, didn't match the rest of my body. So I love the formula. I hope one day I can find a shade that works. So I would repurchase it if I could, but otherwise I'm just gonna let that one go, use up what I have. I have Demi Lovato's song, Anyone, stuck in my head, and man, that performance at the Grammys, I know it like is old news now, but was so unbelievable. And I've only watched it like 3 times. I watched it the first time alone, sobbed because it's her whole story is just so heartbreaking. It's hard. I made my husband Tyler watch it today and I'm tearing up all over again. I'm like, dang it. She's so good. And man, she has gotten through so much. I hope she continues to get better. And she can freaking wail, man. So a primer that I have hated the smell since the beginning. So I just have to get rid of it. Again, it survived declutters. I might have even decluttered it and then pulled it out of the pile because I was like, no, let me give it one more chance, you know? It's the Honest Beauty Everything Primer. I've used like this much of it up. It just has this smell, and I'm sure it's maybe supposed to be like a natural, you know, smell, but to me it smells like if you were like lighting a Barbie on fire, like just burning plastic. I don't like it. I liked it okay on the face. I thought it looked nice, but I didn't think it was like make or breaking a look for me. And so I'm just going to get rid of it. There are a few Honest Beauty things I do want to try, like whatever is it like a cream blush? So many of you guys have recommended. So I've got things on my radar for the future, but that one, I can't do it. Another one that might be a little bit shocking, I'm getting rid of the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. Now take this with a grain of salt. I did not buy this. I'm on her PR list. This is just not my cup of tea. It's just not. I don't even think I have actually used this at all. And I knew it, and I shouldn't have even taken it out of the packaging, so I'm gonna see who in my family wants this, because this is such a nice palette. I think my oldest sister would, because it's like colors. She would probably wear these colors. It's gorgeous, though, and like I said, I'm not gonna swatch it, but the shimmers are so pretty. There are a few colors I might use, but again, I would say more than half of this I wouldn't, and that's why it's something I never would have bought on my own anyway, and that's why I say take it with a grain of salt. I do think her shadow formula is great, but I've said a million times, I think there are plenty of really good shadow formulas, both drugstore and like Sephora brands that aren't as expensive as that. You don't have to spend that kind of money. Unless you're just like, I want to treat myself, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that either. I'm just saying. Okay, I vlogged about this, I want to say in like maybe a month or 2 ago, and I do like this. So let me explain myself. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Eyeshadow. It's the Sultry Nights one. The shadows I've used in this are really good. There's one dud, and the one dud is the one shadow that I bought the freaking palette for. I thought it would be like buttery, like these here are freaking gorgeous. That's the one I wanted though here. And it is so, I've tried scraping it off. It's just so hard compared to that. And I'm like, well, that was the one I wanted. So since that taupey, that beautiful shimmery taupey color is not beautiful or shimmery really, that was one like big strike against it. So when I see this palette, I'll be like, oh, well then I'll just use like these. And I'm like, why have those? I have a million of these in other palettes. So I never really felt like I needed this, but I don't think it's terrible other than that. So getting rid of because I'm not reaching for it. It's just sitting there, but I don't think it's terrible. But if the only reason you want is that taupe shade, don't buy it. And again, that's a good lesson for me. If I'm buying a palette really truly just for one shade, well, that's stupid. Just buy a single, you idiot. Today is like a weirdly warm, like 50 something degree day in February, and it's so bizarre. Like, this does not normally happen. It happened yesterday too, and it's just been so nice, but it's just like, now I just want to be outside and enjoy it before it goes back down to 30 degrees for a while. Okay, one product that is just bizarre to me, the House Laboratories. It's Lady Gaga's line, and it's her La Riot lip gloss. I had 2 of them. I don't know where the other one is. Maybe I already got rid of it. The color disappears on these. They're the weirdest thing, and they were not cheap. They were like around 20 bucks, I think. So I really loved the color. This was the shade Venus. Loved the color, but it literally, after like an hour of wearing it, the gloss stays, but the color's gone. I don't know what the heck, and both of them do that. So kind of at the point where I'm like, again, I'm not reaching for it. I don't need it to sit in my collection. I might save it and put it in an area for like product regrets. I don't know, but it's just, yeah. I'm getting rid of the ColourPop Just to Tint lip balm. I have 1 or 2 of them. I actually like the shade. It is the Strand, but they smell like cat pee to me. I think it's supposed to be like guava or something, and there's something about it that smells like cat pee. I will say I appreciate that with lip products like this clicks on, and that is nice, because there is nothing worse than having a product like this and the lid popping off like in your purse or something and it getting everywhere, makeup bag. So I think that's everything. I did declutter more than what I showed you, but these were the ones that kind of stuck. It's not a word. That's not the first time I've done that either. But these are the ones that stuck out in my mind, is like I had a really for real reasoning for why I didn't want in my collection. But the other ones were either ones that I just wasn't reaching for. Maybe they're ones I haven't even really mentioned on my channel anyway, and it would have been a very long video. So I have a feeling if I do stick with this format that I'll probably declutter and do this kind of thing every few months. So you might see declutters a little more often than usual anyway, because I think it's healthy for me to really take stock of what I have, really thinking about like those categories I mentioned at the beginning. These are products that I'm really just not using. So it also reminds me, as I'm getting rid of these, don't buy any more for a while. They're not something you're reaching for. They're not something you're using, like setting sprays or foundation sticks or pink liquid blushes, that kind of thing. But I actually need to edit this right now and get it up today. So the day you're seeing this is actually the day I filmed it, which is actually kind of rare in the YouTube world. At least it is for me. That's not always the case. So it's always kind of fun when it's like the same day. I feel like we're in lockstep together. I don't know. Anyone watch Mrs. Maisel? We finally caught up with the season finale, and so many of you guys were like, did you like how it ended? I didn't like how it ended. By the time Tyler and I got to the end, we're like, oh, like we're thinking something crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but it's not crazy. No spoilers, don't worry. But anyway, I am absolutely head over heels in love with Zachary Levi. Don't worry, Tyler knows. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to come say hi to me on social media, it is at It's Jessica Braun everywhere, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.